Welcome to the pitch side studio. Match summary: Pakistan in this fourth game of the Tri-Nation win this by 69 runs against Zimbabwe, with Babar Azam top scoring 74. Farhan doing his job, continuing with the form that he's got. 63 for him and a quick fire 27 not out of 10 for Fakhar Zaman. And Zimbabwe, when they came out to bat, they had to face Usman Tariq, who's got his 4 overs, 1 maiden, 4 for 18, did the job for Pakistan. Hello and welcome to the pitch side, and we're going to talk about match 4 where Pakistan have had a clinical performance. 69 runs was the margin. It's a huge margin when you talk about the T20 format. Before we move any further, I'd like to introduce my guest. To my left, Bazid Khan, and then to his left is the player of the match, Usman Tariq. Thank you, both of you, for joining us. We'll start with you, Usman. Cannot ask for a better entry into the 11 with figures of 4 for 18. Just run us through your plan that you had with your 4 overs today.
Honestly, sir, at that time, like when I started my bowling, like Agha just told me that you'll have to be, having that confidence on your skills, and you should be like, having clarity of your mind, whatever you're doing. I'm with you, whatever it takes, like just go ahead and just give your best shot. I say that.
It was the 3rd consecutive game on this pitch. Did you plan accordingly, because your speeds were a little slower than usual, bowling around 75, 76 today?
Actually, sir, there is like one thing about this T20 cricket format, that the bat speed is usually like having, a high speed of the, the movement of that bat is quite high. So therefore, like, you'll have to break the momentum with the, slowing down your pace, and sometimes you'll also have to be like more above the 85 kilometers per hour. So it depends on that time, like when the batter is having intentions to hit you hard, so you'll have to reduce your pace accordingly.
Bazid, we've seen the spinners have done well in the whole Tri-Nation. You were expecting this to happen, that a spinner who's got a different style will cause problems to a side has never faced him?
Yeah, absolutely. With the way that he bowls, that Usman bowls, very difficult to pick up, very difficult to get into rhythm with his unique action. So anybody who's batting for the first time against him will find him difficult. And T20 cricket or white ball cricket, you want to get after the spinner. Once you are not in sync with the rhythm that he's bowling at, it becomes very difficult. Picking him is a different matter, but actually getting into rhythm with the way that he bowls, that is to start off with, that is very difficult, and then you have to pick him, so it becomes a huge problem. If you're not used to facing him, if you haven't played him before, it becomes really difficult. Yeah, there's a big pause. Now, most players would right now be loading up and ready to actually release their shot, but because he pauses now, the batter has to pause, so the rhythm of the batting also gets upset. So to be used to that action with these unique bowlers, you have to play them a lot and then get used to it. So it's a tough ask when you first play.
That's your style of that pause we're talking about, but what do you actually do in that particular pause? Are you actually looking at what the batter is trying to do and you get yourself an extra bit of time and change your mind and what you want to bowl?
Well, sir, the advantage of getting, that pause in the crease, that helps me to have my balance. And also, like, I'll have to, like, trying to read the batsman, what the initial movements are at that time. Like, if he's just trying to, get back into that squeeze, I'll have to be like a bit fuller. And if he's just trying to, coming down the track, so I will definitely gonna change my ball. If I'm just trying to, bring the ball in, and all of a sudden he just tries to, come down the track, so I will gonna change my ball. So these are the things like which helps me to like have the last moment view and just plan accordingly at the last time.
ये एक्शन आपने डेवलप किया या ये शुरू से ही आप ऐसे बॉलिंग करते हैं, या आपने सोचा कि नहीं यार ये एक तरीका है जिसको मैं परफेक्ट करता हूँ, ये क्योंकि ये मतलब बहुत यूनिक है, बहुत मैंने तो पहली दफ़ा ही देखा है कि कोई बॉलर ऐसे बॉलिंग करे.
बिल्कुल सर. असल में देखें, जब मैंने ये स्पिन बॉलिंग स्टार्ट की थी तो एट दैट टाइम तब मुझे पता नहीं था, अंदाज़ा नहीं था कि यार ये इस तरह मेरा पॉज बीच में आता है. इट वाज लाइक पार्ट ऑफ माय एक्शन. फिर विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम इट ग्रू, लाइक मतलब वो ग्रूमिंग होती रही, साथ में खेलते गए, लगे रहे. फिर जब बाद में पता चला कि यार ये तो आप पॉज देते हो, काफ़ी कोचेस ने ये भी बोला कि यार आपका मोमेंटम ब्रेक होता है, काफ़ी कोचेस ने बोला कि अच्छा नहीं है, कोई कहता है कि अनयूजुअल सा है, बुरा लगता है, डिफरेंट चीज़ें हुई. लेकिन एज फार एज लाइक आई हैव सीन द रिजल्ट्स, मतलब मुझे रिजल्ट मिल रहे थे. आई इवन ट्राई टू गो विद द रेगुलर फ्रैक्शंस कि मैं पॉज ना ले सकूं, लेकिन वो मुझे वर्क नहीं कर रही थी. तो मतलब ये था कि ये विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम था, शुरू से था, नेचुरल था. फिर मैंने इसको चेंज करने की कोशिश की, लेकिन मुझे रिजल्ट नज़र नहीं आया. देन आई जस्ट गॉट बैक इनटू माय normal action.
I'll ask you that question. As a batter, you'd probably look at his footage if you haven't faced him ever. and then try to figure out maybe the second or the third time when you're facing him what you need to do in order to tackle him. And also that will be a question for you that over a period of time, you know that they'll try to figure you out what differently can you do to survive and have a longer term.
So for a batter, I think you need to face him a lot. Yes, you can watch a lot of footage, but it is so unique that you have to face him a lot to actually know that he's now pausing, and now I need to be aware of that, and I need to sort of play a little later. So that cannot, you can see the footage, but I don't think you can actually emulate that anywhere else. That is an issue. I think for him, I think going forward, his consistency is great, but I think he can also maybe just look at being as consistent as possible, because whenever he's going to come on to bowl, especially in T20 cricket, they'll try and get after him. And so far what we've seen, मतलब PSL में देखा या उससे पहले कराची में खेलते थे उसमें देखा, तो he is making sure कि जी ये बैटर अब मुझे लग रहा है कि मारेगा, तो मैं पॉज करके इसको वैसा बॉल करूँगा या इतना स्लो कर दूँगा कि उसके उसमें जोन में आए ही ना. तो अभी तक तो कोई खास चीज़ चेंज करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, but going forward then you have to be even more accurate, because that's the one thing with mystery spinners, कि accuracy उनकी बहुत ज़बरदस्त होती है.
Exactly what I was going to ask you, that it's not just about that pause. Looking at the surface, what's required, you obviously vary your pace. What are the other factors that you work on or you heavily rely on besides that pause?
The thing is that I usually rely on the line and length because there was one time when I used to have this curiosity that I used to ask the batter that, can you pick my hand? And I kept asking these kind of questions. So Tom Kudar-Cadmo said one thing to me, that he said, Usman, even if I'm just picking that you're having that wrong one which is coming in, and still I don't have the idea that how long it will gonna break, how long it will gonna stay straight. So it's better for you to just focus on the line and length instead of focusing on who's picking you and who's not. So that thing really helped me a lot, and I just started to focusing on the line and length instead of getting into that thing that if somebody's picking me or no. So that's the only thing which is helping me to stick to the plan, and the results are on the board.
Yeah, but we also like to look at that hat-trick again, and my question would be, were you expecting Wellington Masakaza to go after you on that hat-trick ball, and did you actually bowl something like that would, drag him into that shot?
To be very honest, I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting that he will gonna, block the ball, or will gonna just try to stop or something like that. But I'm really, really thankful to him that he just tried it, and that the result goes in our favor.
It's a question that runs through probably many cricketers' minds. Playing league cricket, you played the PSL also, and then playing for the country. Is there anything different that you do as a bowler? You feel the atmosphere, the whole environment is completely different, or it's just another game?
To be very honest, I've played the last tournament that was Caribbean Premier League. I really enjoyed that thing that they're having a chill environment kind of stuff. They will not gonna put the pressure on you. And the cricket I have played over there was a kind of a friendly kind of stuff. And there's no doubt that the competition was really, really hard, because the batters, they will gonna give you tough time. In league cricket, they're not having also pressure on that at that time, when they're facing you. Instead of having the international cricket is having plenty of pressure and then things. So these are the changes I've seen, that in the international cricket, you'll have to calm yourself, and you'll have to be that control on yourself, on your mindset. So these are the only things which I've seen, that in the league cricket you're not going to find it, but in the international cricket, people are watching you. They are having an eye on you. So all the media and all the Pakistan people will gonna have focus on you. So those are the different things I have seen here.
They'll have a focus and they'll pass a verdict.
Yeah, of course.
Well done today. Congratulations on the hat-trick, and wish you best of luck. And on the show right here, pitch side, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Pommy Mangwa. Welcome back to Pitch Side, and again, reminding you, Pakistan have won this match against Zimbabwe by 69 runs, and they topped the table in the Tri-Nation. Now here, continuing the discussion on this game, we've got Pommy Mangwa who's joined us. Thank you so much. And straight away into that question we were discussing at the start of the play, where you said that there is a certain level of progress in Zimbabwe's team, but consistency has to come in. When you again look at the fact that when you lose the top three or the openers cheaply, then there's a bit of a struggle. They were 63 for 8.
Yeah, when I was talking about, a couple of steps forward and a couple of steps back, I perhaps should have also said that it is necessary to be playing at the level and to get the opportunity to play at the level over and over again, so that as you formulate the plans, it's actually against an intense side and it's under the utmost of pressure, so that the progress is actually tangible and you can kind of take it with you. In this tour, as they play Pakistan once, twice, 3 times, it's important that as you go from game to game, you do better and better. And as you're exposed to their pace and to their aggression and all of that, I am confident that there will be improvements. But can you turn up a few months later and rise up to that level again? That's always the question, and that's the difficulty in terms of dealing with all of that.
What do you feel, Baz, has been the missing link? Now, if you compare this to Sri Lanka's performance, you feel batters are not doing enough, bowlers have the pressure all the time. Today, yes, Zimbabwe bowled first, but you think batting is the only part where Zimbabwe needs to put in some strength, at least between over number 7 and 15, that's the middle order?
Look, they start well. Normally they start well both with the ball and with the bat. It is the back end where they struggle at. Today we saw the back end, they leaked a lot of runs. You need sort of bowlers who can really bowl defensively and have the ability to, well, just damage control. This is that last over which just disappeared time and time again, and I think it went for 25 or something, and even in that there was an unforced error which was a no ball. So that has sort of the attention to detail even under pressure has to be good. I think those are the areas they can improve. They sort of, I think they play well for maybe 30, maximum 32 overs, and then they sort of fall away, and that's been a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I without batting for bowlers per se, I'll say if you manage to set a base, bowlers get under pressure. And so you give Fakhar Zaman and whoever else is coming in at the back end the opportunity to just come in and tee off as a finisher. He's going to put any bowling attack under pressure. The same situation, you imagine Zimbabwe with some sort of platform and Burl to go to work as he did today. Then without the runs, you're under pressure as a Pakistani bowling lineup. Imagine that they weren't chasing as many today and he could play like that with somebody else in at the other end. But because you're chasing 195 and you think that you have to do a whole lot, having not chased it against a really good bowling attack like Pakistan, you try and do too much early on and you leave him as man alone at the back end, and then it seems an impossible task, right?
You just get a feeling then the importance of those 27 of just 10, extra 27 runs, you probably expecting you have to chase 165 and suddenly you're into the 190s has a lot of importance.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you get to over 180 on this sort of surface, it becomes a problem. Pami mentioned that the Pakistani bowling attack is quite potent. Even in the first game, you look at that game, it went closer, but they couldn't close it out. Sikandar Raza then talked about getting over the line, which they did against Sri Lanka. But the power play, even against Sri Lanka, they were good, back of a length. I don't think they got as much swing today or as much off the surface, but it's also because they were put under pressure, the lengths have been little scattered.
It is that and the comparison, the kind of variance from one that has a grouping, which is this one, and the other that has a varied kind of spray in terms of length, is about pressure and about the steeliness because of experience to kind of stay in the same area anyway and reap rewards. It kind of goes like that, and I'll continue to say you just have to kind of front up to the pressure each time. And if you're exposed over and over again, certainly you've got to have the talent, you then get to the level. But if you're going level here one time, level here the other time, then you don't really make that progress. So the hope is that from being exposed to this, there can be something gleaned and reference points, and then you go forward.
But I'm very happy with Pami's progress. He's sort of fronted up to the cold. He's never worn a sweater, and he said, I won't wear anything. I'll just wear this coat. So whenever he's on pre-match, post-match, whatever the weather, he'll just front up.
I'm freezing. That's the moral of the story. I think that's what he's saying.
All right. A quick talk about Pakistan's batting. They got 195 today, and also moving forward towards the big occasion, the World Cup preparations, experiments. Before we get to Babar Azam, I'd just like to ask both of you this question. How do you fancy Fakhar Zaman playing at 7? Now, you look at this performance, you say, good, but on a longer run.
The previous game where he batted, I think he batted 5, and he came on the post-match show and sat here and said, I wasn't supposed to bat. There was Abdul Samad who got injured, so I had to be pushed down the order. I think Pakistan has stumbled onto something. A left-hander with experience who plays the spin as well. You know where the World Cup is. Pakistan will play probably in Sri Lanka. So those pitches in the middle overs, you face a lot of spin, and Pakistan has had that problem of the middle overs. He sorts that because he's got experience, and also sorts the finisher role, again, because of the fact that he's played so much T20 cricket. Yes, he might be batting out of his comfort zone, but I think at the moment, because you look around and you think, who is your finisher, who's your middle order player? You've got a player who's played a lot of T20 cricket, who has that big match sort of attitude, who has that capability of absorbing pressure and actually putting the opposition under pressure. I think Pakistan have stumbled on a good thing.
It's a situational thing. I think what you'd say is that Pakistan should be happy because he has experience at the top of the order. He can walk in at 3. He can, and I don't like to use 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, because I think you can decide when he goes in depending on situation. So he can float and come in at the back end, right at the back. I think the thing that they have stumbled on is the fact that right at the end he can come in and just tee off straight away. But if you were trying to address a scenario where in the power play you haven't gone well, you can send him in at 3 because he's batted in the top order and knows how to work with that, and can also play the spin, so bat through the power play and guide you to what is a platform to then tee off.
You want to say something?
No, I'm saying sign off because it's quite cold now.
But before we sign off, we should actually talk a little bit about 74 from Babar Azam and the knock that he played. And just to ask you as a batter, and then to you as a bowler, Babar Azam's performance in the Tri-Nation has been a little hot and cold. Today's performance looked good with 74. What do you read of him? He's coming back into the groove. What's expected of him is there?
Well, there's a lot of pressure. Every time that Babar plays, there's a lot of expectation about him. But the good things are things that are falling into place. Babar at number 3 adds stability to that T20 side. We saw in the Asia Cup, they wanted a player who could actually guide them through those overs where they really struggled. So him in form is a class act. You can't look much further than him.
Right, running out of time, so here we are. Time to wrap up. Don't forget this encounter, which is day after tomorrow. Sri Lanka will have a very important game against Zimbabwe. They need to get those 2 points to stay alive in the Tri-Nation. Do join us for all the action, which starts at 5:25 p.m. local time, live from the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. All right, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage. We'll see you day after tomorrow.